back to my channel. This is Prepping by Faith, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about why I keep preparing, so why I keep prepping. And I wanted to give you 5 reasons. And the reason that I wanted to put this video together for you guys today is because I feel like a lot of us have come to a place where we are just starting to feel sort of exhausted mentally, emotionally, as well as physically. And we are just so tired of continuing to sort of push this boulder up the hill. So sometimes I find that it helps if we start talking about why we are continuing to do this. And so I wanted to give you guys my 5 reasons today and sort of expound on those. And then I wanted to invite you guys to go ahead and put in the comment section down below your reasons for continuing to prepare, because you may have different reasons than I do, or you may have thought of things that I haven't. So I would love to hear what you guys' reasons are. So my first reason, first and foremost, is that I feel like it's my job to take care of my family. So I have 2 children, I have 2 girls. I feel that I owe it to them to do a good job as a mother and to do everything I can to take care of them. You know, whether that is, giving them the appropriate hygiene items that they need, whether it is providing for them the food that they need, or, the love, the help that I can with education and ensuring that they have everything they need for school. These are all things that are my responsibility as a mother. To put into them, to teach them about the Lord, to be there for them, to support them. And so as a parent, the thought of ever having to look my children in the eyes one day and tell them I don't have anything there for you to eat, or I don't have a way to keep you warm, or, I feel like those are just things that would make me feel like I didn't do my job right as a parent and I didn't do right by them. So they are one of my major reasons for continuing to prepare, along with my husband, because I have a duty as a wife to make sure that he is taken care of as well. That our home is as clean and taken care of as I can. The laundry's done, the dishes are done, the house is clean, the food is prepared. These are my jobs, I feel, as a mother and as a wife, and not just because, that is the role of a woman. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I actually am at home. I don't work. That was a decision that my husband and I made a while back when we had our second child. And so that is my responsibility and my part of holding up this thing called life and marriage and motherhood. Those are my responsibilities. So that is my reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that I feel like this is going to be a lot of you guys' reasons as well, at least one of your reasons. The economy is failing, and it is not just, the United States. We focus on that a lot because it impacts us, to a greater extent, because this is where we live. And so we focus on that. But the economies of the world are tanking. The economies of the world are faltering. A lot of that has to do with the war situation that is taking place between Russia and Ukraine, and that sort of reverb effect that is going on. But it also goes beyond that. We have sky-high inflation, all implications from where they continue to print so much money, especially during the last health crisis that we just went through. So we are seeing the effects of this. So we are seeing inflation take off, and it is impacting our food. It is impacting our utilities. It's impacting our livelihoods. And we just had a situation, I believe it was yesterday, where the S&P 500 has dipped to the lowest that it has all year long. We're seeing situations where Great Britain has announced that it is going to be printing money like crazy and taking on all this stuff because of the issues with the utilities, with the gas. So they are taking on more debt, and that has actually dropped their the value of their currency. And so we're seeing a lot of these currencies that are deflating. We are seeing where different economies are projecting to not essentially grow or even contract next year. I know Germany is on that list of countries. And so as we see all of these things unfold, we know that at some point we're going to be facing a situation where either the goods aren't going to be there or we aren't going to be able to afford them if they are there. You know, we're already seeing ridiculous inflation. We could be facing hyperinflation at some juncture in the near future, along with a bunch of job layoffs. There are so many corporations that are telling us that they are laying off right now. A lot of these are large tech companies, but it goes beyond that. We're also seeing other companies that are laying off in other sectors as well. I know the mortgage companies are laying off. A lot of these corporations are letting go of their higher ups because of those inflated salaries, so they're trying to reduce costs there. You're also seeing the airline industry talk about layoffs. I know that was another one I had heard about. There are so many different sectors, and you know, these large chains as well are having to reduce costs and cut back. So we are going to see this sort of continue to dramatically affect our way of life and our livelihood. So prepping for that, making sure that we have the items that we need at home to take care of our situations, especially when it comes to food and water and shelter and ways to stay warm with the winter approaching, are all going to be wise moves because of what we're facing. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quick is just, you know, reminiscing myself about 2015 and how the interest rate at that time for a mortgage, we were able to get a 3.25% interest rate, and now you couldn't touch that if you wanted to. It's nearly doubled, and it's well over 6%. I believe I saw the lowest was about 6.363 or something like that. So that is going to be huge. That's going to impact what people are able to afford as far as homes go. It's going to definitely slow down the market, if not cause a situation where the housing market collapses. So that's something that we need to be talking about. The Fed has actually, you know, raised these rates. We were essentially almost at zero, and now to this point we are at 3.125%. Just about a week ago, they raised that another 0.75 percentage point, and they are talking about raising that by as much as 4.6% by the end of the year is where they're saying that we could be potentially sitting at, and that is going to have a lot of repercussions on what people are able to borrow, what large companies are able to borrow. You know, they're not going to be able to put their neck on the line and take on any more debt either with all these things going on. Everybody is going to have to scale back. So the third thing that I feel like is another reason that I'm continuing to prepare is because of this utility situation, where the utilities could essentially become a luxury. You know, with all of this situation with Russia and Ukraine and the gas crisis, the oil and gas crisis, we're also seeing, you know, all the different laws and regulations that are going into place that are stopping fossil fuels from being able to do what they need to do. We're seeing where they are, you know, draining down our oil reserves to try to combat this, but this then puts us in a precarious position with a potential, you know, global conflict. We see all of these things, and we know that, you know, at a minimum, these energy prices are going to continue to rise. Europe is especially impacted by this. I know that I had read that they're talking about at least a 17% increase here since last year in the United States as far as our utility prices go and heating this winter. So these are all things that we have to prepare for, and not just financially and making sure that we have the resources, but also having the ability to stay warm in the event that we lose those or we can't afford those. So, you know, there are situations where I know a lot of people have things like generators put up, you know, and while that can't run, say, something like a furnace, it could actually help run an electric blanket or something of that nature to help keep you warm. Those are things, the really tiny little personal heaters, it can run those. That's something that we actually looked into and purchased a couple of those. But if you can't afford something like that, at least having the ability to create a micro environment inside of your home to stay warm, making sure you have, you know, your hats, your gloves, your wool socks, all those things, extra layers are all going to play an important part. And then understanding how low you can drop that temperature in your home to sort of mitigate those costs as well. And everybody bundle up in extra layers and slippers and those sorts of things to stay warm is going to be things that we need to be thinking about and we need to be prepared for. So the fourth reason that I am continuing to prepare is because it brings me peace. You know, a lot of people want to talk about fear porn and all these other things with channels and talking about preparedness as though it is driving fear. But in reality, the more that you have prepared and the more skills that you have, the more knowledge that you have, the more peace of mind it brings you, because you know that you have something else to fall back on if you are faced with any of these sorts of crises. So for me, it brings me a level of peace, and it helps me to continue to stay focused and stay centered and know that I have done everything I can. And if I've done everything I can, then I believe God is going to take it the rest of the way. I'm not relying on Him to do everything for me, but I am definitely taking it as far as I can. And then I have peace in knowing that I have these items to fall back on. I have these skills to fall back on, and I have the Lord to fall back on. So that is my fourth reason. So my fifth reason that I continue to prepare, my final reason, is that I feel like it pushes me to become a better person. So as far as stepping out and doing things that I never thought that I would do, that is something that preparedness has done for me. It helped me to create this channel so that I can reach out and connect with all of you. I would have never in a million years thought I was the kind of person that could step out there and do something like that. It takes a lot for me to sit behind a camera and to talk to people. It is definitely putting myself out there and taking that leap of faith and praying that I somehow connect with somebody in the community, and that our personalities mesh, and that I'm able to share things with you that maybe you hadn't thought of, bring a different perspective. So for me, it's definitely propelled me. It's also helped me to hold myself accountable and realize that I can't be asking you guys to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. So, I mentioned different things that I'm doing, one of which was, that course that I took recently on the CPR, the AED, and the first aid training. And I made myself take that course. It wasn't something that was easy for me, because I do have a phobia about blood, and that's something that I'm taking steps to control, because I know that I need to be prepared for that level of crises and know how to respond, and not just be, in the way or, a detriment in something else or somebody else for someone else to take care of because I couldn't handle the situation that I was in. So, these are all things that I feel like are, pushing me to become a better person, holding myself accountable, and then having the ability to connect with you guys. And I have just enjoyed connecting with all of you guys in the community so much. I've built so many different relationships, friendships. I've met people that I never thought I would get a chance to, and I'm very, very appreciative of all of that. And I'm appreciative of you guys, helping push me forward. As content creators, we're trying to push you forward, but a lot of times you guys do the same thing for us. Just, different comments that you leave us that are encouraging and help motivate us as well, and different ideas that you come up with that we haven't. So we are a community, and I think that's wonderful, and I love that rapport that we built and the encouragement that we bring to one another. So these are my 5 reasons. I would love to hear some of you guys' reasons as to why you continue to prepare. If you could leave those for me in the comment section, I would greatly appreciate it. And, you guys, I hope that you have a wonderful day. And, let's go ahead and continue to pray, prep, and put God first. And if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe and share and like for me. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.